Hello everybody. It's nice to meet you in the third episode. I'm just checking if everything is working fine and we're gonna begin shortly. You're starting out this level, hope to be able to follow. Yeah, well, we have already started, so it would be best if you could catch up like before the next stream, the next webinar, to catch up with everything that we did before, so you could continue from the next one. And you can just stay for now and see, because we're gonna go over from some of the stuff we had done before, so it's always something to see. Okay, seems like it's working, so I'm just gonna start. Alright, yeah. Okay, so last time we have created our movement script with animations and the camera follow. So our game looks like that right now. So our character can move around, jump, the animations are well played, and that's basically it. We have no other gameplay elements, and we'll be working on that right now because the game isn't really playable right now, except for just moving around. Hello everybody. Yeah, so my idea is to add some kind of enemy entity, so our character has to avoid some certain kind of objects like spikes, which is a very typical object to avoid in games, and to get some kind of score, which would be in this case cherries, which are included in this Sunnyland asset. You can see these little cherries over here. So this will be our points, and we will be counting these and displaying them on the screen. And also we have this hurt animation, which is like a just 2 sprite animation. So we are going to try and link this to our character, also making the character respawn after he is hurt, so he has to start the whole level over. Also, we will want to add some kind of graphics to the game, and we will include another asset from the asset store, which is free. Don't worry about that. So we can add some graphics to our game, which includes the background and the platforms. Okay. Oh yeah, and the promised sprinting mechanism. Okay, so yeah, let's start from the sprinting actually. So let's go to our movement script. Let's just launch the Visual Studio and the movement script, as I said. Okay. We have it right here. Okay, so we will bind the sprinting key to shift, And I believe we could actually just make a boolean. Yeah, let's just make a boolean, which is private bool is sprinting. And holding the shift key will make is sprinting true, and if it's not held, then is sprinting will be false. And this will only change the move speed of the character. So another if over here, if input.getKey, because not the get key down, because we want it to be continuous. So getKey, key code dot shift, left shift, yes, or whatever key you prefer. So if it's being held, then we want is sprinting to be true. And if it's not, then else is sprinting will be false. Okay, so now we have to set some kind of movement, the move speed change to our character. So yes, this will be useful. Actually, we should change this into animation boolean, because we will okay, for now let's stick with this. We will remember to add this into animations, so let's just comment it out so we can remember. Add sprinting animation. Just add a to do at the beginning. And let's just change the movement speed of our character, so move speed. And we can either set it here, so like movement speed equals 350 f, or we can add another public float over here, which is the move speed, and public float sprint speed. So we can set it up in the editor much easier and just like on the fly. So instead of having move speed for our character, we will just switch it up with this. So sprint speed will be like the additional movement speed to the default movement speed. So like it will be, let's say, move speed will be 300, and then sprint speed will be 50, and we will be adding the 50 from the move speed. Sorry, from the sprint speed into the move speed. Okay, so we have to make sure that we don't overdo the amount of the speed. So let's do move speed equals, we have to set it into a combined amount, so we have to like save the basic move speed. So we have to do it on this one, so like, yeah, let's just make another float just to make it sure. We don't really have to name it somehow, so like just k. So the move speed equals k, and k will be set at the beginning of the game, so like at the start, which is combined move speed plus sprint speed. Sorry, oh, okay, my bad. Move speed k equals move speed plus sprint speed. Okay, and if move speed equals k, and then we have to, if the else is true, then we have to set the other move speed, the default move speed, which isn't sprinting. So it would be move speed equals okay, so you here have to add another float, so private float j, which is the basic move speed, and we have to just set it down, so j equals move speed. Because if we just change it here, like move speed equals move speed minus sprint speed, then it will just continue changing all the time. So we just have to set like a static amount. So move speed equals j. Okay, so let's go back to Unity. This should compile any second now. Yes. Okay, so sprint speed will be, let's say, 50 for me. And let's see if this works. So this is just a normal walking, and this is the sprinting. There is a slight difference, but just for measure, let's just go for a 200. Actually, this isn't working yet. Because this is at the start, so we have to quit. It has to recompile, and the script has to start once again. So like let's just add 200 for now. Let's see. Okay, so you can see this is like the slow walk, and this is the fast walk. There is a difference, which really you just have to see for yourself to feel it. I don't know if it's visible enough. I can just add an extraordinarily big amount just to make it look yeah, as you can see, this is just a normal walk and this is just the sprinting. So I will just leave it at actually 200 felt really good, so I just stick it to 200. Okay, so this is for sprinting. Now what we want to do is actually let's start from adding some kind of graphics. So let's go to asset store. And look for it was 2D. If you go to the 2D, I believe it was somewhere at the beginning. Yes, it should be the free platform game assets. You can just go to a quick look, download and import it. I have downloaded, so I'll just import it right now. Yes, I want to import everything. So from this asset packet, I want to use these platforms, which you can see over here. Okay, yeah, it downloaded over here. So buy at games, free platform. Where's it? Tiles, PNG, 512 into 512, and a grass. Okay, so let's just add it for now into the game. And now what we have to do is we have to add the collider 2D for this sprite, because currently if we just placed it like that and our character on top of it, then he will just fall through because there is no collider, as you can remember from the first episode. So let's just create, let's just add a component, add a box collider 2D, and then just drag it a little bit down so it looks like a, you know, like a 3D kind of platform, just like that. Save it, change the tag into a platform, and then we can remove this cube over here, which was our floor before, and drag this grass below the player. So now we can move on top of it. Okay, So if you wanted to create more platforms, you would have to do this every time. So just drag it over, add a tag, then set the box collider, edit the collider's height to match the same height as on this one. But we don't really want to do that. We really want to save some time doing it. So let's make a prefab. So let's just create a new folder, name it prefabs, go into prefabs, and we can drag this grass, which is which has the collider and the tag, and just drag it down over here. And now we have a prefab generated, which will be which will hold all these values, which is saved from here into here. And then if we make any changes into this grass, it will change into every other prefab. So let's say we will add 2 of these, like 2 more. Just select, let's just jump it over here, change the scale of X to like 2, and then as you can see, every single one of these game objects will change according to the prefab. Okay, so let's just go back and press 1. Okay, so we have our platforms. We want to add some more assets like trees and stuff like that, so we can add to make the game look better basically. 1 second. So we can use these from the Sunnyland artwork, sprites, I believe. No, sorry, artwork, environment, and then props. So here's some more stuff over here, like trees. There are the spikes as well, which we can use. There's also some kind of boxes, shrooms, signs, rocks, and other stuff. Just to match the same scale of our fox to these sprites, we have to adjust the pixels per unit as well, as we had to do with the fox itself. As you can see, if we drag it, it's like very tiny. So we just go here, type 16, apply, and this will change. So this is another thing. This is what we have to take care of, which is the order in layer. Like as you can see, the bush is going behind this grass, which is not what we want. So we have to change the order in layer, which is over here in the sprite renderer of this object. So if we drag it into, the thing which has the biggest value will be the most in the front. So like if this is 1 and the fox will be 2, then the fox will be on top of the bush. And if the fox will be 2 and the bush will be 3, then the fox will be behind the bush. So the bigger the value, the more into the front it is. So in default we want our grass to be on 0, and every other object will be bigger. Okay, so we really can just play around and have these bushes which are like more up to the front with bigger values. So our fox will like actually fall behind this bush. You can just hide behind it, as you can see, just the tail. And just play around like that with all these props we have over here. So I just add some trees as well, just change the pixel size per unit as well. One over here, one over here. We can change the scale as well. Why not? Just press T, then drag it down with shift so it scales evenly. So this is like a smaller tree. We can add some shrooms over here, changing the scale, the pixels per unit as well. So we have these shrooms over here. Then we have to always remember about ordering them in layer. So like just type 3. Actually, in this case I want it to be 2 because this tree will be behind this bush, as you can see. If I did 5, then this tree will be on top of the bush, and this actually looks pretty strange. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is like has a lot more life than it had before. Okay, so another thing we need to take care of is the background, because for now it's just this ugly color, and we wanted to add some background, and there is one. I believe it was, yeah, over here. So we can just drag this back on top of the camera and rescale it. So let's see if it fits. It does. But again, the order in the layer is important. We can just type -1, which will be like always behind everything if we have all the stuff in layers on the plus. And yeah, okay, so now we have the background, which will be following the camera, and this has like a lot more life than it had before. Good. Okay, so now let's add from props these spikes over here. Yeah, spikes. Can I? Okay, I see. Drag them over. Again, pixels per unit 16. Apply. And just drag them down wherever you want it. You want them. So over here. So let's make a tag for them. Add tag. And instead of the platform, we want it to be enemy. So basically, if we hit something with a tag of enemy, then our player will essentially have to respawn. Okay, so we have to add another component for the spikes, which is a box collider 2D, and then just edit the collider so it just matches, you know, these spikes. We can just leave some space so it's a little bit easier for the player, just like that. Okay, and now for the player, I believe we have it in the movement. Yes, okay, so in our movement script we can see on collision enter 2D, we can check if the collider that we hit, call.gameObject.tag, is enemy, then we have to respawn. There's no such function yet, but we will create it now. Yes, okay, so let's create void respawn. And respawning for now will be just resetting the level. We want to add an animation of our character jumping up and then falling down, like in Mario games, maybe. You will recall how it looked like. And okay, I was just looking up the chat because something popped up for a second. And thank you, Reparis. I hope it looks good. Okay, so respawning will essentially be an animation and resetting the level. For now, let's just reset the level. In order to do that, we need to be using another library from Unity. So write down using Unity engine dot scene management. And now we can go over here and write down scene manager dot load scene, and now we need to give the scene build index, which is 0. I will explain now. So why 0? Let's just go back to Unity, go into File, go into Build Settings, And as you can see, there is scenes in build. For now we have only the sample scene, and on the right we can see it has the index of 0 because everything is has the numbers from 0 up to whatever, how many these scenes you have. So for now the first scene of ours is 0. So this is why I've tapped down load scene 0. Okay, so let's see. This will respawn. Okay, if this is an enemy. Okay, yeah, okay. Let's just close this down. This has, let's apply these to the spikes attack of enemy and see if the game will restart. As you can see, it did. As soon as we step on these spikes, the game just restarts. Perfect. So this is how you can create sort of a losing term in the game. Now let's award a player for gathering stuff like these cherries. So again, go to pixel per unit, but we want to just select all of them because essentially we want to create an animation. So just apply, and I think Unity will actually create an animation if we check all of these. Yeah, it seems like it. Okay, let's just see if it works. Animations, new folder, cherries. Let's see, and also order in layer. Go to like 10 because we want them to be almost always on top. Yeah, let's create some kind of risk jumping over spikes to get these cherries. And let's see if this actually created an animation. Yeah, it did. But I want them to be a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, this works for me. Yeah, so you can just add them like that. Okay, so for now we cannot pick them up. So we have to create another tag. So which will be let's say not coin, but like yeah, cherries. Just cherry. And apply it into the cherry tag. Now add a new component for the cherry, box collider 2D as well. The collider was like a little bit too big for me. I want it to be smaller. Yeah, just like that. And again, go back to movement script. And another thing over here. So if call.gameObject.tag is a cherry, we want to add a point, but we don't have any way of storing these points yet. So for now, let's just comment out add a point. And we have to also destroy the cherry which we just picked up. So let's go to GameObject.destroy, and we have to reference the object. So call dot GameObject. Okay, let's see if it will actually destroy the cherry right now. Yeah, it destroyed it. So it disappeared, and the point isn't given to us yet because we don't have a way to store them for now. Oh, we restarted the game by hitting us on the spikes, and again these cherries spawned. So this is just as intended. Okay, so let's now create a way to store these points for us, for the player. We will need another script for that. So create a new C# script. Let's name it points, perhaps, and open it up. Okay, so we want to create a public static integer. So a public static integer points, Okay, and over here we will also add some later on. We will add some kind of functions which will make these points appear on the screen, so we can actually know how many points we have. We could do that right now in a very basic way, but this is not what we want yet. Okay, yeah, we'll do that later. So for now, let's just store these points over here. Okay, so let's go back to movement and add a point. So we have to add a point to points.points, which which makes no sense in talking, but you will see what I mean in code. So points, as in the class, then dot points, because this is the integer of ours, this inside of this class, and we can add just one, so plus plus, yeah, plus plus, and a semicolon. So this is an incrementation, so just adding 1 point into this integer, the double plus. And for now we can only see that in the Unity, actually we even won't see it in the Unity yet. Okay, so okay, let's just add it over here and go back to Unity. I believe we have to add it, yeah, we have to add it into the player. Just for now for the player, we can add it later on into basically any other component, sorry, into any other game object which won't duplicate, but for now let's just leave it at the player. Okay, so how can we see if we gathered a point? Because there is actually no way for now that we can check if we have the point, a cherry, sorry. We can add a little thing called a debug log. So we can just write down debug.log, and then inside of the brackets we can, as you can see, insert a message. So points, current points, then make a concatenation with a plus, and type down points.points. Okay, you don't even have to type to string, so it will work anyway. Okay, so just close it down and a semicolon at the end. So if we pick up a cherry, it will display a message in our console over here. Yes, this is not used yet because we won't use it yet. We can see it in the console that we have 1 point over here. So if we wanted to add more cherries, we can rename it into a cherry. Go into project, let's make a prefab out of the cherry. So go to prefabs, add a cherry over here, add some more cherries around these platforms. One maybe hidden behind this bush. So the bush has an order of 3. Let's just go to 4 and make this cherry over here have a 4. So it's like a little bit hidden over here. Like that. Okay, so let's see the console. We can just clear it again. Now this is blinking because we haven't set it for every single cherry, for every single sprite that is rendered, the order and layer. So right now it's just blinking. We can fix this later. So we have 1 point. Oh, my bad. Okay, another thing. As you can see, we've gathered 3 along with a respawn along the way, because if we reload the level, it will not reset the static integer. So we have to remove the points of the player whenever he respawns. So in order to respawn, we want to change points.points to be 0. Okay, let's just reload the script. Sorry, the game. Gather the first one. Gather the second one. which is not seen. Yeah, like, as you can see, 1, 2, and then here will be 3. So we have all 3 of these gathered. And if the character respawns, then I'm gonna clear the console and gather the first one again. We have another, the 1 again, second, and the third again, instead of 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm just going to check something quickly. Okay, so have I missed something? I think that's all that we had for today. Yeah, okay, let's just fix this cherry over here. So let's see if all these sprites over here, this can't really be reordered. So this is 4th in the layer, and the bush is oh, it's 4 as well. Okay, that's why. So let's set it to 4, and it's not blinking anymore. So if the cherry is 4 and the bush is 6, it won't blink. So it just has to be higher. If it's the same, then it might blink around because it doesn't really know which object to show over another, because it's in the same order in the layer. Okay, and I believe this is all for today. There's still quite a lot we can add, but we can leave that to another episode. You have some time to catch up if you didn't catch anything along the way. And you can ask me questions. I will be here for another couple minutes in the chat. So if you have any questions, you can just write it down. Okay then. Yeah, then see you next time, which will be on Tuesday, which will be, let's see, 21st. Goodbye.